Money ki baat. Money is issued by government. That's passive voice, and we can't be passive. We need an active voice. Government issues money. That's active voice. Money ki baat, मूल्यों और नैतिकता की बात. February 18, 2017. Ethics. We're going to talk about money ethics conventions. Money, financial securities, and warehouse receipts. I'm G. Ramachandran, Ramach, to my friends and to my associates. My email, indiagrow@gmail.com, and my Twitter, @ramachgramach. Money, financial securities, and warehouse receipts may have a few similarities. However, their dissimilarities are many, and we're going to learn from financial securities and warehouse receipts. Unlike financial securities and warehouse receipts, all money in our economy is issued by our government. All money in our economy is issued only by our government. All money in our economy is issued and guaranteed by our government. Notice, under Reserve Bank of India, you have guaranteed by the central government. Society's three principal intelligent inventions, GMT, government, money, and taxes. We can't get away from the troika. G is for government. Government is the sole issuer and the sole common counterparty. Your money, my money, and our money have the same government as the common issuer and the common counterparty. Government is the universal issuer, the common counterparty, and the only hub. We are all merely spokes. M is for money. Money has a face value. It keeps moving from seller to buyer. It's a chain, an endless chain. There are no coupons, no dividends, no redemption, and no other claims on the issuer, which is government. There are no cash flows at all from the issuer. There is no corporate action too. Money is infinite, especially in its digital form. There's no redemption. Money is an awesome magic that does not possess any absoluteness. It's government that's at the absolute center of this magic, because it creates, validates, certifies, propagates, and accepts money in that magical and endless circle. Government issues money. Money does not need gold. How fortunate we are that the gold standard died nearly 46 years ago, August 15, 1971. Thank you, President Richard Nixon. We have to thank you. Money requires trust in government, period. Money does not depend on metal and paper. Money depends on minds. Money will soon depend on decent, diligent, and dignified digital minds in India. Money is a public good created by, operated by, and accounted for by the government. Citizens pay taxes to receive these services, regardless of the medium in which money is created. We pay the taxes, government creates the money. Our citizens and our government can choose to create this money as coins, currency, and digital money. There is no prohibition to create digital money, not at all. Money can be digital money ab initio, right from now at birth. Money does not need digitalization. Now we move on to financial securities. F is for financial securities. Many issuers, many investors, many counterparties. There's no universal issuer, there's no common counterparty. Bonds, preference shares, equities, convertible bonds, and warrants do not have any universal asset such as gold as an underlying asset. These financial securities are all financial claims that have the private assets, the private cash flows, and the wholly private corporate actions of the issuers at the core of their claims. In general, therefore, Financial securities are not guaranteed by the government. Financial securities are not a public good. They are privately and bilaterally created by, operated by, and accounted for by issuers and investors. The costs pertinent to creating financial securities, including them in depositories, and then listing them for trading, are borne by the issuers. These securities can also be digital ab initio. They too do not need digitalization. There is no such thing as dematerialization now. That used to be the case some 20 years ago. Everything now is created digitally. The costs pertinent to placement of orders at the brokerages, trading on exchanges, and settlement through banks and custodians are borne by investors. So we are seeing a segregation of responsibilities. Issuers bear some costs and investors bear some costs. Investors bear these costs because they earn by investing. They earn the coupons, they earn the dividends, and they own the right to vote. Anyway, coming back to this part, if issuers bear those costs of issuing securities and investors bear the costs of trading, remember, trading these securities is an option. If the costs of trading are very high, investors can choose to fill it, shut it, forget it. That's a possibility. Now imagine what would happen if people in India holding money, digital or otherwise, do the same. They don't move money, they stop spending. They think it's too costly to transact with digital money. The government has to think about the consequences. The costs pertinent to placement of orders at the brokerages, trading on exchanges, and settlement through banks and custodians are borne by investors, and very clearly because these actions create cash flows in favor of the investors. But what about the contrast here? Money creates cash flows, direct and indirect taxes for the issuer, the government. Government owns direct and indirect taxes that arise from transactions, and these transactions involve the movement of money from buyer to seller. Who then should bear the cost of creating money, digital or otherwise, citizen or government? Compare the situation with financial securities. In the context of financial securities, those that create the securities bear the costs. And in the context of financial securities, those that receive the cash flows bear the costs. Who then should bear the cost of moving money, digital or otherwise, from buyer to seller? I think it's government, because government earns taxes. Let's now consider further this idea of risk. Financial securities are not a public good, they are private assets. Therefore, value or market risk, the settlement risk, the custodial risk, the accounting risk, the operating risk, and the transaction risk are all borne by the investors. By contrast, money's principal risk, the biggest risk, the value risk, is borne by the government, the issuer. Money's face value is guaranteed by the government. Why? There has to be a clue here. Let's move on to warehouse receipts. W is for warehouse receipts. Many issuers, hence many counterparties. There's no universal issuer, no common counterparty. Warehouse receipts have an underlying commodity such as gold, coffee, cotton, crude oil, and wheat. Warehouse receipts have these assets at the core of their claims. In general, they are not guaranteed by the government. Warehouse receipts are not a public good. They are created by, operated by, and accounted for by those storing the physical assets. They are the issuers. Therefore, the costs pertinent to surveying, storing, insuring, and periodically certifying the underlying commodity are borne by the issuer. Warehouse receipts are digital because of dematerialization. You certainly can't think of DMAT being avoidable here. You have to have DMAT because There's a physical commodity behind it. Therefore, the costs pertinent to dematerialization are borne by the owner of the physical asset. Who bears the cost of dematerialization in the context of creating warehouse receipts? The owner of the physical asset. Warehouse receipts too are not a public good. They are private assets that belong to the owner of the physical commodity. Therefore, value risk, custodial risk, accounting risk, and operating risk are all borne wholly by the beneficial owner of the physical commodity. The issuer is the beneficial owner of the physical commodity. Please permit me 2 questions. If money were a physical asset, gold, coins, and paper currency, who do you think owns the money? Consider these. The first part. The government demonetized 500 and 1000 because it owns those papers. They had the right. Similarly, when government says those owning the old 500s and 1000s will be taken to task, they can do it because those too are owned by the government. So the first question, may I repeat it? If money were a physical asset, who do you think owns the money? Who do you think should bear the costs and the risks of any form of money, including digital money? My answer, the costs and the risks of India's digital money system should be borne by government. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. I'm G. Ramachandran, Ramach. My email is indiagrow@gmail.com and my Twitter @ramachgramach.